This is one of the most interesting machines I have seen in my entire woodworking life. Something called the Chatternator. I'm Garrett Fromme, CEO of IDC Woodcraft, your CNC router bit supply company. And on this channel, I like to not just teach you about CNC routers and your CNC router bits, how to design your projects, but also introduce you to unusual, interesting, and helpful pieces of equipment. And in this video, I came across one of the most interesting ones I've ever seen, a machine called the Chatternator. I was at the AWFS show in Nevada. Now that's the Association for Woodworkers and Furnishing Suppliers. I came across this one called the Chatternator. The Chatternator was designed and built by a guy who was a trim maker all his life, or for quite a long time, and he got tired of hand sanding all the trim that he made. So he invented a machine, has a patent on it, and now has made that available to you as a woodworker. So we're going to get in this interview with the Chatternator guy and let you see how this works and the unusual construction of this machine. Let's go. IDCwoodcraft.com. Hello, my CNC brothers. I'm at another booth at the AWFS show. Right? What does that stand for? It's American
Woodworking Furniture Suppliers.
Furniture Suppliers, okay. And so I've been going from booth to booth, looking for interesting companies, the mom and pop shops, interesting pieces of equipment that, I teach CNC, but as CNCers, we're still woodworkers, we still use woodworking equipment. And I came across this very interesting machine. I'm going, what the hell is this thing? and so I got to talking to these guys and finally talked to Bill, the inventor of this. You got a patent on this, is that right? Yep. Yeah. And so Bill's got a little bit of a story of this machine. But first of all, this brush sander thing. Come on in and just take a closer look at this thing. It's kind of like a planer. The concept that you got a feed through of a board molding or something like that. As a feeder, and it's using the sanding brushes here. What's the right term for these things?
You got it.
Okay.
Sanding brushes are
All
good.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about the idea behind this machine, the global idea. What are the uses behind this? And how did it get developed? And then we'll get into it.
Okay. It started out with, I had 6,000 foot of trim to do.
So you are a trim maker.
Right. I have a trim business.
This stuff right here. Okay.
So then it was all hand sanding. I told my wife, I said, I've got to do something different. You get crab claw.
Because you're sanding
by hand.
How much? 16,000 feet?
6,000 foot.
6,000 foot. Okay.
And in my perverted mind, that's over a mile of trim by hand.
It's over a mile of walking with your hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So then, this is our second version over here. Third version, this is the new one that we came up with. The idea behind this is your coarse grit, you get 24 hits per revolution, versus like that one, when you run a combination, you only get 6 hits. So theoretically, this would be your finer grit. Feed it in, you can do it faster with the two head machine like this.
Okay. So the idea is you had to manually sand out all the trim that you. So were you making your own trim?
Yes.
And then you sanded it out?
Right. Okay.
And so what you get with that is you're getting all the chatter, right? That's why, come here, that's why they call it the Chatternator, right? What a great name for a machine. So go ahead.
But on this is the chatter I get off my molders here, and I stained it after so you can see the chatter
So
marks.
you're using a form tool to cut that. And you got the chatter.
So then running it through on my small sander there, sand up to here, and then you can see the real difference between.
This is a huge difference.
Right.
You can see it too on the camera.
Yeah.
Can you? Good.
So whatever, if it's a paint grade or stain grade, it's going to show up.
Okay.
So with this setup here, you can clean it up usually on one pass.
Okay.
And this is some cherry wood. Cherry's pretty hard to clean up, so it does what it's supposed to do, I guess.
How fast do you feed through this?
I've got it set up. I've got variable speed rollers here on the control panel from 0 to I set them about 12 to 14 feet per minute.
Okay. Okay.
And like on that one, the sweet spot's around 6 foot. This one, you can run it through on 12 foot. So the idea behind this setup versus that one, you can do more in a shorter period of time.
Okay. So here you got a this is a 6-inch wide, and so you got one blade. What do you call it? What'd you
A
name
hub or sanding hub.
Sanding hub, okay. One sanding hub here, belt driven, and
The-
110 volt, right?
Right, and I can do 220, but the difference on this one here is that, like this one is 100 grit here.
Okay.
Okay, these would be 127 millimeter wide, 4 millimeter wide, 3 millimeter wide, then you go back to 100 grit again. So that's a combination
So
grit.
what's the idea of doing the combo? Combo grit.
This one here, when I first started was for the small shop like mine.
Yeah.
And then while it's morphed into, we do aluminum. I mean, I've got sold machines to a guy who builds doors and windows to scratch before they spray.
Yeah.
Then I've got 2 big outfits on the East Coast that use it for PVC because of the salt. They use PVC, and the guy asked me, he said, Bill, he said, will it do it? I said, I don't know, send me some samples. So as soon as he got it back, he ordered a machine. They're still using the heck out of it.
Okay, so you don't necessarily have to use the sanding stuff. You can use Scotch-Brite.
Yeah, you can do pretty much anything as far as, I guess, we had a guy this morning we were talking to. Now we're talking about setting up reverse, so have double-sided paper, one grit one side, one on the other, feed it through this way, hit the switch, reverse it.
So you can reverse this, huh?
Well, that's our next project for next show.
Okay.
But we're getting some different ideas.
Gotcha. So you got a 12-inch unit over here. Now we're going to stop for just a second because I just want to remind you, I've got links down below where you can actually go to the Chatternator website and you can actually get on the phone and talk to the guy. It's one of those ones where when you call the guy, he actually answers the phone. Hey, how's it going? Right? Down home. Down in the description, check that out. Take a look at Chatternator. And if you want to augment your woodworking in this unusual way, then go for it. Let's get back to the interview. And his daughter, she keeps hiding behind the camera. She's like, I don't want to be on the camera.
Yeah, and this one is set up. We used to have 12-inch strips, but putting metal on metal because we mill our own hubs, which are aluminum. So our tolerance is a lot tighter. So when I place an order, I tell them who it's for, and they spot check on my hub so I can drop ship right from the factory.
Question is the top exposed?
No, we have our smoker top.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
So, and then we have the buttons.
Barbecue grill.
That's exactly what we hear. The smoker top. So,
and you can put a dust collection
right,
there.
and clamp it down, and you're good to go.
Okay, it's a nice open structure here on the frame. So it's there's 2 things that caught my attention on this whole thing. Was number one, the simplicity of it,
Right.
and the concept behind it, and the need that the problem that you solve. Right. So how long you been in business selling this?
I started this about 6 years ago. I got my patent in 18, and went to market with it even when I had my provisional, and it's kind of morphed into a lot more than what I anticipated.
Like it always does. Business always does that, especially when you got an interesting project. So what are some of the different uses? You said PVC. You've seen aluminum.
Acrylic was another one.
What is?
Acrylic, like a guy called me about. They had a big contract with a huge hospital in Ohio.
Okay.
And he said, well, do acrylic, for the backsplashes. Send me some samples. Run them through. I thought they didn't look very good, but send them back to him. And that's exactly what we're looking for.
That's funny.
So it was 900 pieces that they would have to sand twice by hand.
Okay.
So got the 12-inch. He can shove 3 through at a time.
Okay, so let's talk about other uses. So for woodworkers, right? So what are some of the general woodworking shop uses you've seen people buy these for?
Mostly trim or flat stock.
Okay.
And also distressed. We're working on a wire brush head versus the paper.
Okay.
And
So you got wire brush for that?
well, we made our own up to start with, and it works fine. The only problem is we've got to become more knowledgeable on the tensile strength, the type of wire, twisted wire, that kind of stuff, along with nylon. But that's something that we've been working on for a while. Like I say, it's just the two of us that get in the shop and throw out an idea. Oh yeah, I got a way to do that. So that's kind of how we evolved.
Okay, so you're U.S. made. This is a U.S. made machine.
Right. We do everything local that we can, like our hubs, all of our iron, powder coating, and everything's nuts and bolts. So nothing's welded. So,
Right. Okay.
So if there's anything that goes wrong,
Take it apart.
yep.
So you've got your adjustment wheel for your different thickness material.
Right. And
you've got spring-loaded rollers in here to put the tension on it.
And then as you're, this is set kind of on a half moon, so it'll tip up and down.
Okay.
So once you get your wood in, you just have two bolts on the side to move it down so your brushes are hitting about maybe 3/16 deeper than your deepest cut.
Yeah.
And then it's pretty well set. And as these wear, you can adjust it down. I'm still using my prototype. I have over 100,000 foot on that set of brushes.
Okay.
So
wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Been real happy with it. Have had a lot of fun with it.
Yep. Well, it's got some good weight to it as
Yeah,
well.
these are 115 pounds. Or that one over there is about 115. This is about 125. This is about 150.
Okay. And you're 110. What's the motor on it?
The motor is a 110 3/4 horse.
Okay.
And then for our drive rollers, which are variable speed, is a 17th horse DC motor.
Okay. So you have a separate motor for that.
So,
okay. Yeah. There. Okay.
So now what we're working on now is where we can reverse that off a switch instead of, if somebody wanted to run the other way. That's what we're working on now.
Okay. So how can somebody who says, okay, that's a cool looking machine, want to know more about it, where do they find you at?
Well, my website is www.profilesander.com.
Profile Sanders.
Or just look under Chatternator. It'll come up too.
Chatternator. That's the only guy that's got that name.
Yeah.
And it'll be linked down in the video as well, in the description of the video.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's very, very cool. So how many, you built the machine, you still do molding work?
Oh, yeah. I've got them both going. I've got about 80 machines out. We have them in Canada, Mexico, Belize. Let's see, I'm trying to think, Romania even. And I've had a big distributor in London. He says, what's your production capacity? My reply was, how many do you want?
Right.
If they're sure. He wanted 200 machines. It takes me about 25 hours to build one from start to finish.
Okay.
I figured, well, it'd probably take me 4 years to do, so I'm not. I just do direct to customers. What I'm looking for.
Okay, so this is the. You'll get on the phone with the guy when you call him. You'll talk to this guy or her. And she'll lead you.
Yeah, there you go. But yep, that's.
All right. Well, very cool. Yeah. So. Well, thank you for.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by and having a little chat here.
Yeah, it's a very interesting machine. So,
well,
I see use for this in our industry, but I just don't know what it is. But it's there, right? So maybe you can put in the comments or something you can see use for this. But I see it being able to be used somehow in the workshop in many different ways. So anyway, all right, cool.
All right.
Thanks for chatting.
Thank you.
All right, killing. There you go. You've got this really interesting machine called the Chatternator that is designed to sand your projects much quicker, your raw wood, your trim, what have you. I don't know if I'd use it on a finished project, but it probably might work for that too if you're doing CNC router work. Anyway, that's it. Check out the Chatternator, links down below. I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft. Have a great day, better tomorrow, and happy CNCing. IDCwoodcraft.com